Hi guys, it's Tactical Itch here. Last time when I was playing with the Doomseekers, I saw a bunch of comments saying how they suck in battle. Now, being a Slayer enthusiast, I shall not allow this slander against the Beyblade Slayers, so we are fielding them in battle today, not only just deploying them on the battlefield, but also deploying them in Vanguard. Yes, they do have Vanguard deployment, so if you want to bring a fully Vanguard Dawi army, you can actually bring these guys as a stronger melee anti-infantry presence here. Now, for the rest of the army, we have a bunch of miners with blasting charges and Norgrimling Ironbreakers who also have Vanguard deployment as one of their Regiment of Renown special trait as the Ironbreakers. And then behind them is the triple Doomseekers, and further back 4 units of Rangers, providing some long-range firepower to chip away the Kislevites' health. In the skies, deploying in the normal deployment zone, 2 units of gyrocopters to use their speed and quickly catch up with the rest of the Vanguard army. Leading the army, we have a generic Dawi Lord, and coming in with nothing really, just trying to get the leadership as cheap as possible. He is supported by Runesmith, coming in with Rune of Slowness and Rune of Wrath and Ruin. On the other side of the battlefield is Kislevites, commanded by Jaima, our fellow YouTube content creator of the Italian community, going for a mixture of infantry, mobility, and artillery. Armored Cossars in the front line, and one of them, the Regiment of Renown Watchmen of the Night with their anti-infantry bonus and frenzy, making them very good against my infantry, especially regular Slayers, but perhaps the Doomseekers can deal with them. We shall see. For the rest of the army here, we have a bunch of things in the woods for their mobility and armor-piercing anti-infantry. Further back, a couple regular Cossars to provide some archer fire, and 2 little Grom. No doubt this double Grom is going to counteract any artillery or war machines that the Dwarfs are bringing, so they can be some very devastating long-range firepower with pretty good precision as well. On top of that, they have a high-firing arc, so they can just hide behind tree lines and keep shooting. Leading the army is Katarine and her dreaded Ice Sled. Of course, we now know that Katarine's sled is still bugged and still banned in regulated multiplayer, but in this battle, which was played in early access, we were still trying to test out the sled in the new patch, which is why the sled is included in the first place. And yeah, that's it for the army builds, and now let's get the battle started and watch the Slayers seek their doom. With the Vanguard deployment, I'm definitely deploying way further ahead than my opponent expected, and the things in the woods will be rushing forward to try and intercept or at least slow down my advance. The introduction of the Doomseekers with Vanguard deployment is a very interesting one, because with these melee beasts added in, the Dwarf Vanguard build actually has some good offensive melee power now, instead of relying on the one-and-done explosive charges. Explosive charges can be quite powerful, but miners themselves are pretty bad in melee, and they can be intercepted like this, with the things in the woods charging into them, disrupting them from throwing out their explosives at all. Katarine as well, rolling straight through my miners, now going after the Rangers at the back. But here comes the Doomseekers, who are already doing some really solid damage against the things in the woods, especially when supported by some Ranger firepower. Though unfortunately there are just too many things in the woods for me to deal with right now, and my backline is crumbling slowly but surely. On the other side, there are some explosive charges, but unfortunately a lot of them landed on the trees. So the Doomseekers don't really have much fire support here, but being a fast and swift Slayer, well, for a Dawi standard, they managed to catch up onto the Watchmen of the Night, doing some really good impact damage on the charge already, despite being shot on all fronts by all these armored Cossars and probably regular Cossars as well. The other Doomseekers also getting their job done, pushing back the things in the woods. While the rest of the things in the woods here, though, are running over all my backline defenses, I'm trying to expend as much ammo with the Rangers as possible, just trying to squeeze out some damage with these guys for now, before they eventually get dealt with by Zarina and the anti-infantry monsters. At the back there, Doomseekers managed to catch up to the Watchmen of the Night, and the Watchmen had no choice but to stand and fight. Cossars at the back are shooting at them from point blank, but the Doomseekers are not gonna back down. They're Slayers after all, so they are unbreakable, while the rest of the Doomseekers in the front line are tearing apart the armored Cossars. The great weapon ones especially are the optimal target for the Doomseekers to fight, as their armor piercing is wasted on the butt-naked Slayers, while the Slayers have no trouble punching through their defenses at all. On the far side there, a few miners and Rangers are getting chased off by the things in the woods. The gyrocopters are trying to shoot at Tsarina Katerin, but their missiles, a lot of them relying on that explosive damage, is not doing that much work against Tsarina Katerin and her ice sled, and instead they are getting shot by the double Little Groms and are taking very noticeable losses for now. Doomseekers here actually pushed back the Watchmen of the Night and are now fighting some Kossars in the middle of friendly fire. Sure, they were almost dead, but they were fighting against an infantry unit designed to kill unarmored infantry while being shot on all sides. Not only did they survive, but they were emerging victorious and still kicking more butts in the process. That is a pretty impressive feat. The Doomseekers here are forcing themselves into the Kossar formation for a bit more of a contact with their Beyblade ability, and that should be able to do more damage. Norgrimling Ironbreakers are also pushing into melee. I was trying to use their blasting charges, but I think the trees were blocking their line of sight, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just throw them into melee, and here they are crushing the armored Kossars in melee combat, while the Doomseekers pushing back whatever is standing in their way and are slowly getting into the back line. At the back there, one of the gyrocopters have been routed away by the Little Grom, and now I realize the Little Groms are doing all the work against my gyrocopters, so I'm moving up the gyrocopters, trying to get them into position to shoot at the double Groms. At the back there, the Doomseekers were down to around 12 models, now down to 8, and managed to push back some things in the woods, still fighting and kicking, now earning a chevron and almost earning back their cost. Each one costs 1,350 gold, so I would say that's a win when they're fighting against anti-infantry units. Now at the back, the Doomseekers here, after fighting through a bunch of Kossars and the other Doomseekers sacrificed themselves to clear the way, they managed to catch up to the Little Groms. The Little Groms are actually slower than the Doomseekers, so they can't actually run away from the pursuers, and the things in the woods here, regrouped from being routed, are needed to intercept the dwarf pursuers. Unfortunately, Doomseekers are still elite slayers, and the things in the woods getting absolutely wrecked in that engagement, only delaying their target for but a moment. Over here, the Norgrimling Ironbreakers are grinding through the armored Kossars with great weapons. Yes, they have armor piercing, but unfortunately, they just don't have the melee stats to overcome the 79 melee defenses of the Norgrimling Ironbreakers. Being blasted by explosives and recharged by miners, they are not long for this world. Doomseekers as well, dragging down Tsarina Katerin on the ice sled. Yes, she is a menace with the insane mass plowing through all those infantry like what she is doing to the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers now, but once she gets stuck like just now when she was surrounded by the Doomseekers, she was actually taking damage from all those armor piercing attacks. Now over here, Little Groms continues to be pressured away by the Doomseekers' pursuit. More things in the woods are being thrown into combat, but they are just getting themselves killed in the process and shattered away. Doomseekers resumed their chase while the gyrocopters attempted to stay right on top of the Little Groms, as this prevents the Little Grom from shooting at them due to the lack of minimal distance between themselves and the target. While at the same time, Doomseekers will be threatening to drag the Little Groms into melee combat and force them to not shoot. While over here, Tsarina Katerin trying to save some armored Kossars with great weapons, but it was too little too late here, being slowed down by the Master Rune of Slowness. Now the Doomseekers are turning around and counter-charging. Unfortunately though, it doesn't seem like they're making contact with the ice sled and are failing to do damage thus far. This is getting a little bit better for me right now because I still have some very much high leadership core or simply unbreakable core of my army. The Doomseekers can be killed to the very last slayer, but they cannot be routed and they're just continuing to fight on. These Doomseekers still having 8 unit models since we last saw them and have earned back some more value since then. They're still fighting, but with a charge from the things in the woods being overwhelmed in terms of sheer numbers, they are just gonna get finished off, finally meeting the doom they seek. Especially when there's another unit of things in the woods coming in. Yeah, they might be strong, but they are not invincible, and that shall spell the end of this unit. At the same time, one of the Little Groms have been trapped by a surround of Doomseekers. They might be seeking doom, but they're also bringing doom to their targets, like this Little Grom here down to less than a quarter of HP, activating Borrowed Blood already. The things in the woods will have to charge in an attempt to screen out the Doomseekers, allowing the Little Grom to struggle its way out of the surround. Though the Doomseekers are hitting back hard, even a couple surviving Doomseekers here, just the 2 of them are helping out. They might be on the verge of death, but they're just doing whatever they can before meeting their glorious doom. Unfortunately, my units are slowly running out of health. Doomseekers at the back are psycho-charged by Katerin, and the gyrocopters here had a bit of a lapse in micro. The double Grom were able to take aim and shoot off a couple models from my gyros, dropping their leadership, and I'll be quickly responding by pushing the gyros to one of the little Groms over here, but the other was still able to shoot, taking off another model from my air fleet. The lone remaining gyrocopter will be fleeing from battle. The Lord, though, continues to chase after the little Grom here, threatening to drag it into melee combat, being so low in HP and followed by a trail of Doomseekers. This little Grom is not having a good time whatsoever, while the other little Grom being shot in the back by the gyrocopters. Over here, Norgrimling Ironbreakers, being the regiment of renown they are with solid leadership and melee stats, they are holding on for sure, supported by a few Doomseekers here. Things in the Woods trying to overwhelm them. The thing is, the Norgrimlings still have quite a few models, around 50 of them. That is a force not to be trifled with, and the Things in the Woods are getting steadily dragged down by the elites. The Lord here is getting sniped by the little Grom here, being rather accurate themselves, and his HP is dropping quite low. Zarina and her War Sled being so close by allows the Ice Sled to follow up and put in the killing blow on the Dwarf Lord. Though this Dwarf Lord is the most generic one and doesn't have any equipment on him, so that's fine for me. The rest of my army isn't really that prone to routing. After all, Doomseekers are unbreakable, and Norgrimlings, well, they're Norgrimlings. They will fight till the very last dwarf. They will march on to battle alongside the Doomseekers, as the Things in the Woods, after regrouping, will be charging into their back, but they are holding fine for now. I'm gonna ignore them for a bit here, trying to really get into range and chuck my explosives into the little Grom, but with more Things in the Woods pouring into the fray and Katerin herself being in the mix, I decided to hold my ground to fight a bit here, dragging down the Things in the Woods so that I don't have to deal with them later on. These healthier Doomseekers continues to pressure the little Grom over here, being slowed by the Rune of Slowness. Now my Doomseekers perhaps can catch up on to this slowed down war machine. Norgrimlings and Doomseekers at the back here are still fighting, and they managed to rout off the Things in the Woods. Zarina Katerin tried to charge through them, but got stuck for a quick second there, taking a little bit more damage. Runesmith keeps chasing Little Grom, but unfortunately, unlike the Doomseekers, he doesn't have the speed with more armor on him. Even with the help of the Rune of Slowness, he still struggles to catch up. Meanwhile, Katerin and her Ice Sled charges into the Doomseekers, stopping their pursuit. But that also dragged the attention from the Doomseekers onto her, and she doesn't want to trifle with these Doomseekers, so she wisely backs off and decided to go for another cycle charge. Though for some reason the little Grom stopped running away, allowing the Runesmith to catch up and drag it into melee combat, stopping it from shooting. Gyros are also shooting into the fray, but not doing much. On the far side, little Grom that routed has regrouped, so I'll be dispatching a couple Doomseekers, literally the last two of their unit, going after this tattered unit of little Grom, hoping to scare it off. Over here, Norgrimling Ironbreakers standing their ground. Katerin tries to charge in, but a volley of explosives in her face, taking down quite a bit of HP. Now, of course, explosive charges against a single entity isn't as good as explosive charges against a full unit of infantry, but at this kind of late game scenario, every little bit of damage counts, so that is a win for me for sure. Putting Katerin into a wavering status, that triggers Borrow Blood early, and Katerin is on the edge of routing as soon as she loses that Borrow Blood unbreakable effect. On the far side, their miners readying themselves, going to walk up and ready their blasting charges and into Zarina Katerin once more. Now she is completely routed away by the explosive. Army losses is quickly approaching, and the Dawi decided to call it a day, as the little Grom over here actually got scared off by the two remaining Doomseekers. Doomseekers might be a controversial unit, but they did help me win this game. GG to my opponent Jaima there. Now for the army performances, as I said before, the Doomseeker is a very nice addition to the Dwarf Vanguard army, giving them that offensive option other than just trying to shoot through the enemy front line with rangers and explosive charges. The Doomseekers, unlike the miners, can actually go on the offense and punch through the defenses of enemy infantry, other than trying to put all your bets onto explosions alone. If I only brought the rangers and the miners, then the Things in the Woods can effectively charge down my front line with the help of Katerin's Ice Sled and disrupt the backline, and I have little to do against it. However, the Doomseekers allow me to punch back at the things in the woods, beat down the monsters, and grind through all those armored Kossars, and reach the little Groms with their rather fast speed for dwarf infantry, and in the end they earn back all of their value in total, and then some more. The Norgrimling's Ironbreakers also got some solid damage done since they are indeed an elite infantry, especially the last couple volleys of explosive charges managed to put that final nail in Katarin's coffin. And yeah, got some really good job done. The Gyrocopters didn't do great against a single entity, and the Rangers got absolutely slaughtered by the things in the woods by the Kislevite mobility. Miners also didn't do that much in battle, didn't earn back their value, while the characters, well, they're not really here to do damage anyways, especially the generic Lord is just butt naked going in, just fulfilling the mandatory Lord requirement. For the Kislevite army here, the things in the woods tried their damnness to carry the game. One of them did some really solid damage. The other one as well got some pretty good kills against my horde of Dowie troops, but in the end, the Kossars didn't manage to carry their weight, neither did the little Groms, and they were finished off by my Doomseekers pushing them all the time, unable to expend their ammo due to the pursuers dragging them into melee combat. Katarin and her ice sled is still a pain for the dwarves to deal with and just ravage a lot of my infantry units, but in the end got dragged down by the melee attacks of the Doomseekers and a few explosive charges. And that's it for today's battle. I hope you all enjoyed this multiplayer action, and if you want to see more Total Warhammer content, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.